Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Asmad Gurubhyo Namaha. Shruti Smriti Purananam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Mukti Bheda Vibhagine Vyoma Vadvyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. Om Shri Medha Dakshina Murti Swamine Namaha. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamrita Varshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatva Manusandhadami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshinim Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutah Stunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedais Sankapada Panishadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavastita Dadgatena Manasam Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyantanna Vidusura Suraganaha Devaya Taspai Namaha.
Namaskaram, Guruji.
Again, everyone. So,
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste, Namaste. We are seeing the philosophical arguments or philosophical aspects of Bhagavan Krishna's teaching to Arjuna, where he is trying to explain in words what cannot be explained in words. That is the irony of this entire Vedanta. Because everyone wants to understand Atma, everyone realizes the I, that there is an entity called I. But the problem is they are unable to equate that I with that Atma or that Paramatma, which is the totality. It is not being part of the totality, but equating the I with the totality itself. Where whatever totality we are talking about, the cosmic powers that we are talking about, those powers are very much inherent in that I. The I mean the real I. And that's what happens, how to explain this Atma to us. Suppose I were to describe myself to me, I can describe it only in terms of my body, mind, sense, complex aspects or attributes. Very clearly, I know that I am not you, I am not somebody else, I am not the flask, I am not a table, I am not a mic or whatever it is. I am not any of these objects. I am very, very clear. Now, what are you? When this question is asked, or rather to put it in Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi's words, who am I? When we ask that question, who am I? We actually end up describing ourselves only at the body, mind, sense, complex level. we are unable to go beyond that, because what lies beyond cannot be explained in words. And that is why Upanishad after Upanishad also, with various terminologies, various stories, various examples, they try to make us understand what that I is, the real I is. And here Bhagavan Krishna is actually giving the various aspects of that I. And in the next sloka, that is the 23rd sloka, which we just read in the last class, towards the end of the last class, he is further expounding the same aspect, which he has already been talking about. Some of us may feel that Krishna is going on repeating himself. But the problem is, unless he repeats, it will be very difficult to understand just if it is told once or twice. So Bhagavan Krishna is trying to make Arjuna understand what that Atma is. First of all, he is trying to make Arjuna understand that Arjuna actually is Atma, is consciousness. Bhishma is consciousness, Drona is consciousness. All the people in their real nature are consciousness only, and the consciousness cannot be destroyed. So he is trying to make Arjuna understand that you cannot destroy any of these people because they are indestructible or imperishable, and B, because you think that you are destroying them, you are having all these shokam, you are having all this grief and sorrow. So if you understand that it is not possible for you to destroy the real nature of Bhishma, Drona and all that you are doing is probably, destroying their physical entity, which in any case is destructible. It is something which is perishable. If you don't do it, somebody else will do it, or the time will do it. So what is there to grieve about? That is the main theme of Bhagavan in these slokas. And he will start from after we finish the 25th sloka, which will be the last sloka of this philosophical arguments. So Bhagavan will actually sum up. He will say, look at all these I have told you. From these, if you understand these things, where is the question of your grieving about all these things? That is the basic theme which is running through these slokas. So we will read the 23rd sloka. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha, na chainam kledayantyapah, na shoshayati marutaha. So the anvaya of this sloka is yenam shastrani na chindanti, yenam pavakaha na dahati, yenam apah na kledayanti. Then last enam is not there. We have to add that enam cha marutaha na shoshayati. So enam here, all the enam refer to the Atma, to the inner indweller, the inner consciousness, innermost self. Shastrani, weapons, na chindanti, do not cut. Enam, this Atma, pavakaha, fire, na dahati, does not burn. Enam, this Atma, apaha, water, na kledayanti, does not wet or cannot drown this Atma. And then enam, this Atma, cha, also, marutaha, air, na shoshayati, does not dry. So he is again saying that Arjuna, please understand, weapons do not cut this Atma, fire does not burn this Atma, water does not wet this Atma, air also does not dry this Atma. None of them can touch this Atma in any manner. So here Bhagavan says that even though the Atma, the self, is intimately associated with the body, Atma does not get destroyed by any means, whereas the body is affected by everything that is there in the creation. We all know that the four elements in creation, there are totally 5 elements. So except Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apa and Prithvi can affect the body and it can destroy the body also. Only exception is space cannot destroy the body. That's why he is talking about 4, not 5. Shastrani enam na chindanti. Weapons do not cut the Atma. And here Shastrani represents the Bhumi Tattva, the Prithvi Bhuta. Because all weapons, if you look at it, are made out of substances like metal, stone, etc., which are all part of the earth element, the Prithvi element. Generally, weapons are of 2 types. Those weapons that are released from one's hand, like a rock, a bullet, an arrow, or a spear, all those weapons which are released from the hand, like a missile. They are called astras. When we read Ramayana, Mahabharata and all, we come across the word astra, Brahmastram, Varunastram, Agniastram. They are called astras. They are released from the hand. And those held in the hand, like a stick, a hammer, a sword, all these are called shastras. So astras and shastras both are weapons, and all the astras and shastras, they belong to the Prithvi Tattvam, the earth element. So here in this verse, even though the word shastra alone is used, we have to understand that it implies both types of weapons, shastra and astra. So weapons like sword, knife, spear, all these can cut the body, pierce the body, and even kill the body, destroy it. Similarly, fire. Na enam dahati pavakah. Fire cannot destroy the Atma, but it can burn the body. Actually speaking, fire cannot even destroy the subtle body and the Karana Sharira, Sukshma Sharira and Karana Sharira, let alone Atma. Fire at best can burn only the physical body, the Stula Sharira. Similarly, water cannot even wet the Atma, let alone drown it. Apahe yenam na kledayanti. Because water can drown or wet something which is an object, and Atma is not an object. Atma cannot be drowned. And lastly, he says, na enam shoshayati marutaha. The wind cannot dry up the Atma also. Whereas the wind can dry up our physical body, we can become dehydrated. And dehydration can lead to eventually destruction of the body. But Atma cannot be dehydrated. So here the word Marutaha represents Vayu, and it refers to a hot air in a tropical country. That's why the word Marutaha is used, because normal breeze and all will not do a dehydration. It is just like, what we have these days in many parts of the country, the heat wave. In Delhi and northern parts and all, severe heat wave. That is called Marutaha. It is not just Vayu. There's a special name in the language for that, Marutaha. And that Marutaha can cause dehydration. So throughout the Shastra, we find a particular model that presents the whole world as made up of 5 elements: space, Akasha, air, Vayu, fire, Agni, water, Apa, and earth, Prithvi. Both in their subtle and gross forms, these elements account for everything that is there. Even though in chemistry and all, we see the periodic table and so many elements and all, from a Shastric point of view, all those elements are part of Prithvi element only. So the subtle elements account for the mind, senses, etc. And the gross elements account for the physical body and the physical world. And as we have seen already, our physical body comprises of these 5 gross elements. It occupies space both outside and inside. Now there is a lot of space inside also, especially in our abdomen area. Otherwise, if there is no space, food cannot go in, isn't it? It contains Vayu, our body, oxygen being present wherever there is blood. So it is the Vayu which brings in the oxygen and supplies to the blood. The body has heat, Agni, without which it can't survive. It has water which gives the body the shape, Apaha. So it has water as a part of its composition. And finally, the body contains the same minerals that are found in the earth, that is in the Prithvi, be it calcium, carbon, magnesium, and so on. And all these minerals and these things are contained in a certain proportion with the body for the body to actually live healthily. That is why when we get little old, there is a depletion of these minerals, and doctors will advise us to take supplements, calcium supplement, magnesium supplement, phosphorus supplement, and all. Why? Because our body requires all that. This physical body requires, for a healthy physical body, all these which are found in these elements are required. So if we analyze the body like this, both at the subtle level as well as at the gross level, we will find that this body, mind, sense complex is nothing but containing everything that is there in the macrocosm, both in gross form and physical form. Everything is there within this body. It's a sort of a model which Bhagavan has created for us to understand. You start understanding first your gross, subtle, and causal body. You will start understanding this entire universe. Then you start understanding the indweller, the Atma of your body. You will understand the Paramatma. So Bhagavan has actually given us a very live model for us to understand everything that is there, which has been talked about in the Shastras. But unfortunately, our attention does not go in that direction. And even the physical universe are defined in many ways in the Shastras. But this elemental model, which the 5 elements, Panchabhuta model, is simple for understanding. And all the Panchabhutas, they all enjoy the same degree of reality because they are all elements. Whatever the nature of reality is. For example, Akasha has a certain degree of reality. And the same degree of reality is also enjoyed by the other 4 elements, Vayu, Agni, Apa, and Prithvi. And we must understand that this is all little technical it is going, but it's very important to understand about Atma. Only objects belonging to the same degree of reality can affect each other. For example, one physical body can definitely destroy another physical body. Similarly, a body and a weapon, both physical objects, belong to the same degree of reality. Therefore, weapon can hit the body and injure and destroy it. But suppose if we want to destroy a tree by destroying its shadow, is it possible? It is not possible. Because the physical tree belongs to a different degree of reality and the shadow belongs to a different degree of reality. So by attacking the shadow, you cannot attack the tree. Another example, you cannot hit a dog with the shadow of a rock or a stone. Nothing will happen to the dog if you hit the dog with the shadow of a stone. Because the object and the shadow belong to two different orders of reality and are therefore incapable of destroying each other. If one needs to affect the other, both must enjoy the same degree of reality. This is a very important point we need to understand in trying to understanding this sloka. Another aspect to understand is that objects belonging to the same degree of order, same order of reality, need not affect each other also. It is not necessary that if they belong to the same degree of reality, they should affect each other. They can affect each other, but they need not. Space, for example, belongs to the same order of reality as the other four elements, but it is not affected or destroyed by any of them. Air cannot dehydrate space, fire cannot burn space, water cannot drown it. So even though these have got powers of dehydration, burning and wetting or drowning, the space, even though it belongs to the same degree of reality, these other four elements cannot do anything to space. Nor can you take a sword in hand and destroy space. Space cannot be destroyed by bombing it or by shooting it. Actually speaking, space cannot even be polluted. There is no such thing as space pollution. Only the atmosphere is polluted. The other four elements cannot destroy space because space has no form. Air, on the other hand, can be destroyed in the sense that one form can be changed into another. Air implies atoms and atoms imply a structure which can always be changed to a new structure. If hydrogen and oxygen are brought together in a certain way, water is created. So whenever we talk of a structure, any structure is always available for a change. It can be modified. It can become entirely different structure. One metal can be converted into another metal simply by changing its atomic weight. Those science students, chemistry, physics students will understand this. A base metal can be changed into gold in this way, although it is not economically feasible to do. They tried in the past to change a base metal into gold, but then they found it's a very expensive process. Therefore, the word death applies only to a particular structure that no longer exists because it has been changed in some way. So what is death? Death is nothing but a change in the structure. From one structure, getting modified into another structure is what we call death. And in his Bhashyam, Adi Shankara argues that anything that has limbs or attributes or structure can be destroyed. Now, space, having none of these, space does not have limbs, it does not have attributes, nor a structure, cannot be destroyed even by the other elements that share the same order of reality. And now, when we talk of the order of these Panchabhutas, we start with space. and end with earth. Now, if we actually try to understand Atma from the Panchabhuta model also, we will find that the grossest of the Panchabhutat is what? Earth is the grossest. And earth has got all 5 attributes: Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa and Gandha. 5 attributes earth has got. Sound is there, taste is there, it can be touched, felt, earth element, or anything in the earth rather. Everything that is there in the earth, it belongs to the earth element. So it can be touched, Sparsha is there, Rupa is there, this is a form, and Gandha, smell is there. There is, in fact, even the mud actually, when the new rains come, we can get that smell of that mud. Even that mud smells. Of course, there are fragrance, so many fragrances on the earth rather, like flowers and so many things. But apart from that, earth has got that also. What is the next higher or grossest is the earth. Subtler than earth is what? Apaha, water. Water has got what attributes? Water has got Shabda, it makes gurgling sound. Sparsha, it can be touched. It has got a Rupa, it has got a form. It has got a Gandha, it has got a Rasa, taste is there. Tasteless taste, you say, but water has got its own taste. We say, some well water very sweet. Well water is very sweet. So there is a taste, but water has got no Gandha on its own, unless we mix some Gandha, some smelling object. So water does not have Gandha. So when we move from a grossest level to subtler level, one of the attributes is dropped. So when we move from earth to water, Gandha, the smell is dropped. Water has got 4 attributes. Now move to a more subtler level, from water to Agni, fire. Fire has got Shabda. When fire burns, a lot of sound sometimes it makes. Even a gas burner, when you put it on, it burns, it makes a sound. So fire has got sound, fire has got, you can touch the fire. Of course, we must not try it, but it can be done. And it has got Rupa, right? It has got a form, but it does not have taste and it does not have smell. So this is 3 attributes of fire. So from earth, we move to a subtler level, water. Now we have moved to a more subtler level, Agni. Then come to Vayu. Vayu has got Shabda and Sparsha, but no Rupa, no Rasa, no Gandha. 2 attributes only for Vayu. Then more subtler than Vayu is space, Akasha. Akasha has got only 1 attribute, Shabda, sound. It does not have Sparsha. You can't touch space. It does not have Rupa. Space does not have a form. It does not have a Rasa, taste. It does not have a smell. So space has got only 1 attribute, which is Shabda. We are able to hear only because of the space. If the space had not been there, the sound waves cannot pass through for us to hear. So space has got only Shabda. So all these 5 elements, preceding the space is what? Preceding the space is Atma, which has got no attributes at all. Atma does not have Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, or Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, none of the attributes. So if with the Panchabhuta model itself, we can understand what Atma is. And space is a very close example of Atma, even though in terms of degree of reality, space is, has a different degree of reality as compared to Atma, which we saw in a few classes earlier. Atma has got a paramarthika reality, paramarthika satyam, whereas all the Panchabhutas are vyavaharika satyam, different degrees of reality. But if we understand the space and then built into that the degree of reality and all that, then we can understand what Atma is. It has no attributes. So even space with just one attribute cannot be destroyed by any of the other four elements. What to talk of Atma, which has no attribute, which cannot be destroyed by anything. That is the sum and substance of this sloka. So the Atma is also free from limbs, attributes, structure, etc. because it is pure consciousness. I am aware of everything, including my thoughts, which objectify this entire world. Therefore, this consciousness, Atma, cannot be destroyed by any weapon or any other instrument of destruction because it is not available for objectification. Nothing can get at this Atma. And also, nothing else belongs to the same order of reality. Atma or Paramatma or Brahman is the only one which belongs to a different order of reality, what we call the highest order of reality. Now, there can be a problem, a question in some people's mind. You say that Atma cannot be destroyed by anything. Okay? At the same time, we know that a non-existent thing also cannot be destroyed by anyone. What is the non-existent thing? For example, Pandyaputra we saw. The son of a barren woman does not exist, cannot be destroyed. Or Shashashringa, the horn of a hare or a rabbit, does not exist, so it cannot be destroyed. So on the one hand, Atma cannot be destroyed. On the other hand, a non-existent thing cannot be destroyed. So does that mean by putting these together, is it possible that actually Atma is non-existent? Perhaps there is no Atma and all this, some rishis, munis and all that in their dream or whatever it is, or in a different state of reality which they would have. They have come up with this Atma and all that. This doubt could arise. It's a very genuine doubt, and many people have questioned this entire Upanishad, this teaching on the basis of this doubt, non-existence. In fact, Buddhist philosophy is actually based on this. They say Shunya philosophy. So, in the next verse, along with Bhashyakara's commentary, puts this doubt to rest. So, after having discussed all this, the main message of this verse is, even though all four elements cannot affect the body, but none of them, can affect the body, but none of them can affect the Atma. This we must remember. And I felt that when I studied this is another beautiful way of understanding the difference between Atma and Anatma. Anatma can be destroyed, Atma cannot be destroyed. That is the essential difference between Atma and Anatma. If we understand that, lot of Vedanta has already gone into our mind, our buddhi. So Krishna continues. Achedyo yamadahyoyam akledyo shoshya evacha nitya sarvagatasthānuhu achaloyam sanatanaha. Again, summing up, when somebody does a summing up, they will repeat. It's a summary, So many of the ideas which have already been presented, there will be a repetition of those ideas. That is how summaries or summing up is done. So Anvaya of this sloka is I am Achedyaha, I am Adahyaha, I am Akledyaha, I am Cha Eva Ashosyaha. I am Nityaha, Sarvagataha, Sthanuhu, Achalaha, Sanatanaha. Again, this all summing up by Lord Krishna. I am this Atma, Achedyaha cannot be cut. I am this Atma, Adahyaha cannot be burned. I am this Atma, Akledyaha cannot be wetted or drowned. Cha eva Ashosyaha cannot be dried. I am this Atma is Nityaha, eternal. Sarvagataha, all pervading. Sthanuhu, stable. Achalaha, immovable. Sanatanaha, everlasting and perpetual. So this Atma, the self, cannot be cut nor burnt, cannot be wetted or drowned, and cannot be dried. This is changeless, eternal, all-pervading, stable, immovable, and everlasting and perpetual is this Atma. I am in this Atma. So, as I said, when we read this sloka, it appears that Bhagavan Krishna is more or less repeating the same idea which was given in the previous sloka, and also some of the ideas from the earlier slokas. And this would appear to be a repetition and hence a defect in Shastra. But if we observe carefully, there is a difference between the previous sloka and this sloka. That is why the subtlety of our intellect comes into play. Even though it appears to be the same idea, in the previous sloka, he stated that weapons do not cut this Atma, fire do not burn this Atma, water does not wet this Atma, and air also does not dry this Atma. And in this sloka, he gives the reason why weapons cannot cut, why fire cannot burn the Atma. It is the very nature of the self of Atma that it cannot even be touched by any destructive power or element. So the previous sloka talked about what, and this sloka talks about why. This is the difference between the two slokas. Even though the words used are more or less the same, the terminology is more or less the same. Previous sloka, he referred to Atma as Enam. Here he says, I am. The word I am in this verse refers to the self-evident, self-existent Atma. And whenever we talk of self-evident, it means that which does not require any means of knowledge to prove its existence. This we must put in our mind very, very clearly. Whenever we say Atma is self-evident, Atma is self-evident. If we look at Atma as an object, if our understanding is Atma is something different than me, then it will require a means of knowledge to understand what Atma is. And when we say self-evident, I am self-evident to myself. Do I need any means of knowledge, any pramana to know that I am? And I am the Atma. So Atma alone is self-evident. For everything else, I need a pramana. For the knowledge of everything else, I need a pramana, except that I don't need any means of knowledge to know myself. And whenever we say Atma, 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 we must replace that in our mind with I, my real nature, my real nature, my real nature. And it is because I am self-evident, everything else becomes evident to me. to the self. So to say I am does not require any perception, inference, presumption, illustration, or the means of knowledge called anupalabdhi, that which helps you to understand what does not exist. We have seen all these things in Tattva Bodha. We have seen even in earlier slokas, I have explained all these things. Because even to understand what does not exist requires someone who is existent to use the anupalabdhi pramana. So something has to exist to know what does not exist. Pujya Swamiji gives a nice example. He says, in order to know that there is no pot in my hand, there must be perception and a person who wields that perception. Inference, a means of knowledge based on perception, also presupposes a person who wields the inference. Whatever be the means of knowledge, there must be someone to wield that knowledge, that pramana. To say that an object in your hand is a feather and it belongs to a peacock requires a means of knowledge, your own perception and your prior knowledge of a peacock feather. You perceive the object directly and recognize it as a feather. Similarly, to prove the existence of any object, a means of knowledge is necessary, a pramana is necessary. Even to perceive that my physical body is not the same as it was yesterday requires a means of knowledge. How do you know that you have a stomach ache, back pain, or you have ache all over? Since you cannot show the ache to anyone, no one can verify it. Even when you go to a doctor, you have to tell him, doctor, I've got a stomach ache. He can't find out whether you've got a stomach ache or not. Pujya Swamiji says, that is why body ache, back pain, stomach ache and all very useful for applying for leave. Because nobody can find out. They have to trust you only. You say, I've got a stomach ache, you got a stomach ache, so you want leave. Even orthopedic specialists cannot say whether there is an ache or not, because it is purely your own experience. You alone are the witness. All this, even referring to your own physical body, it's all witness perception, sakshi pratyaksha. And sakshi pratyaksha is another type of perception that does not involve the senses, but still it is a perception. You feel it. You feel a stomach ache, but none of your five senses are involved. Your eyes cannot see a stomach ache. Your ears cannot hear a stomach ache. Your nose cannot smell a stomach ache. You cannot touch your stomach ache with your hand. What to talk of sound? Ache does not produce any sound. So you can talk only about these various conditions of the body if you have a way of knowing them. Similarly, since you talk about your mind, you must have some way of knowing the mind. There must be some perception by which you know the mind. That you have certain memories is purely because the programming is there, even though it might not always serve your purpose. That's a different thing. Even to know that you have forgotten something is a perception. Many of us have it. Oh, I knew it, but now I have forgotten. How do I come to that conclusion unless I have a certain perception? What is the means of knowledge I am using for that perception? Nothing. But everything is evident to me because I have a means of knowing. So by what means do I know that I am? Do I know I am by perception? Or do I know I am that because the scriptures tell me? Do I know I am because I have used my sense organs to know that? Do I know that I am by inference? No, the answer is no, no, no for all these. I am there before all of them, before all these perceptions, inference, scriptures came. I was always there. Because I am, I can infer. I am, and therefore I can see and hear. That I am is self-evident, and because I am, all knowledge is possible. This is something we have to understand. That I is what? That I am, when I say, is nothing but one aspect of that Atma, or I would say, even say that all the three aspects, Sat, Chit and Ananda, existence, consciousness and limitlessness. So this Atma alone is self-evident, Swata Siddha. Therefore, the word I am is a very important word in this sloka, referring as it does to that which is not an object of any destruction. Achedya. And Krishna keeps repeating it because Atma is also not a zero. As I said, it is not a non-existent entity. Atma is all existent, self-existent, and is not subject to being slain, burned, drowned, or dehydrated. It is timeless, nitya, and thus all-pervasive, sarvagata. And therefore, Krishna concludes this sloka by saying that Atma, the self, that is you, are sanatana hai, eternal and immortal. Only a thing which cannot be destroyed can exist eternally. And this is the essence of this sloka. Therefore, if you understand this sloka well, there is no question of somebody attaining immortality. Because immortality is your very nature. Immortality is the innermost urge of everyone's thought. The one thing that any one of us cannot stand is disappearance from this earth. It's a fact. But based on our experience, we know that we cannot physically get immortality. Therefore, what we do, we try to adopt some shortcuts, thinking that by that we will become immortal. So we try to become immortal through some indirect methods. And there are traditions with naming the children or grandchildren after your name, taking photographs and hanging them all over. We want to be immortal by seeing by all future generations. Oh, this was how my great-great-great-great-grandfather, grandmother looked. By that we think we have become immortal. In fact, some people start some institutions and name it after themselves to become immortal. They feel that if this body and all goes, if I die, at least the institution will carry my name and it will be immortal. So somehow, in one way or the other, we want to leave something so that we are able to live eternally. And this is the innermost urge of everyone. And the irony is that we readily accept the mortality of every other living being, but when it comes to our own self, we can never accept it. And there is a very good reason for this non-acceptance also. We are not able to accept mortality because it is not natural. Sorry, mortality is natural and immortality is accepting immortality is not possible because I'm getting confused. I'll rephrase it. Okay.
Immortality is natural. Immortality is natural. See,
my thoughts went somewhere. So
I know. I got it. I do this all the time and explain. Yes.
Let me recollect my thought. So the reason for this non-acceptance is of mortality is Mortality is not natural. So we are not able to accept it. Mortality is unnatural. We are naturally immortal, and that is why we are not able to accept mortality. If mortality is natural to us, we would have been comfortable. For example, we have no problem when we are happy or someone else is happy, isn't it? Unless, of course, there are some jealous creatures are there. They see somebody happy, they become sad. Of course, that's all exceptions. But generally, when we have no problem being happy, we have no problem if everybody else is happy. We never say, I am very much worried nowadays because I don't know why I am so much happy all the time. I seem to be happy in the morning when I get up. Then at noon I am happy. Then in the afternoon I am happy. And so am I in the evening. Even at night when I go to sleep, I am very happy. Do we ever complain like this? Continued happiness, is it a cause for concern? We never do, isn't it? Whereas if we have a gloomy feeling, when we wake up, there is some stress, some gloom in our mind. And that unhappy feeling lasts throughout the day. But we are not able to stand it. We want to get rid of that gloom or sadness, isn't it? Happy, no problem. Sadness or grief, we want to get rid of it. Why? Because sadness or gloom is unnatural. Happiness is natural to us. We are all Ananda Swarupa. It's very natural to us. So we want to be in our natural state always. So the rule of nature is that whatever is unnatural, we reject. Even if you look at our own system, the physiological system or biological system, if anything unnatural enters, the system will reject it and throw it out immediately. Isn't it? Our body, this whole system is meant to take healthy food. Try to take something which is unhealthy or poisonous. System will reject it. Even why go, a dust particle enters the eyes, teardrops will appear and remove the dust. If dust enters your nose, it is thrown out by sneezing. If something wrong enters your stomach, it is cleansed by purging. Therefore, by one method or the other, anything which is unnatural to the physical system is rejected by the body. And that is why even, this organ transplant is a very big issue rather. Transplanting is easy, but there's a big problem because this body recognizes the organ which has been transplanted as an external intruder and therefore it rejects it. I mean, the success of organ transplanting is very, very low, and that too with a lot of medicines and all that, they force the body to accept that transplanted organ. So rejection is a big problem in many organ transplantation surgery. But you see a beauty of the nature. If a female carries her own child, that is becomes pregnant, the system does not do anything. It cooperates. Even though the child is not part of the female, something external has been impregnated into the female, system doesn't reject it. It in fact, system supports the whole process of the child growing in the female's body. Why? Because it is natural. So the law is very simple. What is natural, we accept. What is unnatural, we reject. Mortality, everyone rejects. Nobody accepts mortality. Everyone wants to live a day more. From that, it is very clear that mortality is unnatural, and what is natural to me is Nitya Sanatana. I am ever there. I exist eternally. I am not bound by time. What a wonderful knowledge, isn't it? If we get this knowledge, we will not bother about anything that is getting destroyed. Even this body, this mind sense complex getting destroyed, we will not bother. Because I know that I cannot be destroyed. I will live on eternally. And if we understand and assimilate this knowledge, all our problems in life will vanish. That is the beauty of Vedanta. That is why Upanishad after Upanishad is trying to tell us, my dear, please understand this, please understand this. So Atma is Nitya, not bound by any time. Anything that is time bound is Anitya, and it cannot be Sarvagataha. Even if you look at space, even though we say space is all pervasive, actually speaking, space is not all pervasive. It's only Atma which is all pervasive. Space is all pervasive only with reference to the world, but it does not pervade the Atma, because Atma is consciousness, and in the consciousness there is no space. But then when space is there, consciousness is there, though space is within Atma, so it cannot pervade Atma. So space does not pervade the Atma, but Atma pervades the space also. Therefore, it is Sarvagataha. Then again, Atma cannot move. It is Sthanu. Can it move? When we say Sarvagata, it is there everywhere. Where is the space to move? It can move to a place only where it is not. Since Atma is Sarvagata, it is Sthanu. Sthanu follows from it is Sarvagata. It does not move, it is always the same. Here, perhaps Atma, some people may think that, okay, Atma must be like a tree, staying in one place but not swaying. So, in order to remove that doubt, it says Achalaha. Unlike the tree, it does not sway. And Krishna also describes the Atma as that which remains the same always, Sanatana. It is not brought into being by some force or a cause, because it is not affected in any way by anything. The Atma is always the same, always fresh, always new. So, actually, when we look at our culture, our Hinduism, it deals with mainly two topics. There are only two topics in Hinduism. One is Dharma, another is Brahman. And these are enshrined in Veda Purva Bhaga, which talks about Dharma, and Veda Uttara Bhaga or Veda Anta Bhaga, which talks about Brahman. That portion dealing with Dharma is called religion. That portion dealing with Brahman is called philosophy or Jnanam. So religion deals with all karmas or dharma. Philosophy deals with the knowledge of Brahman. And both do not change at all. Values are the same. Ahimsa was Ahimsa 5,000 years ago. It will remain Ahimsa 5,000 years hence also. And what is the basis of Ahimsa? I don't want to hurt anybody. Therefore, I should not, I don't want anybody to hurt me. Therefore, I should not hurt anyone. I want everybody to tell me the truth. Therefore, I should also tell the truth. So, Satyam, Ahimsa, all these are called Dharma, and that is Sanatanam. What about Brahman? Was Brahman small Brahman during Shankaracharya or Vedavyasa's time, and now in Kali Yuga it has become a big Brahman? No. So Brahman also does not change. So Dharma also does not change. Brahman also does not change. Therefore, Hinduism is called Sanatana Dharma, that which teaches the changeless values of life, and that which teaches the changeless truths of this creation. And therefore, this word Sanatana, ever fresh, ever valid. That is why we are studying the Gita now also. Whereas physics, chemistry, etc. that we study, today's parents are finding it difficult to teach the children because physics they studied, the chemistry they studied during that time has all changed. So all the other sciences seem to change from time to time. Theories are revised, theories are discarded, many medicines are discarded. Therefore, medicine changes, physics changes, chemistry changes. And what does not change? Dharma does not change. Therefore, Vedas can never become obsolete. Even after 20 centuries, Vedas will be valid. That is why Veda called Sanatana. Atma is called Sanatana. So we will stop here and continue in the next class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mama.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Guruji.
Thank you, Raghu.
Guruji.
Thank you,
Mama.
You.
Thank you, Guruji.
You.
Thank you, Guruji, for the lovely
You.
session.
You.
Thank you very much, Guruji.
Thank you.
Very deep, though. Very, very extremely deep. You have to think a lot.
We have to not think a lot, we have to reflect a lot, we have to
Yeah.
contemplate a lot.
Think,
Of course,
reflect. I
it's
meant.
thinking only.
Yeah, it's all.
That is
Thank
because
you,
we are
Guruji.
not used to this. So that
Yeah,
is
it's very profound, though. Very, very. I mean,
very
if you,
profound. I mean, whole Gita, every shloka is very profound.
Yeah. if you contemplate all that, as you said, think, or then it becomes. If you meditate on that, that's what I want to say.
You have to meditate.
Then, but you have to spend time. It's not like read this one day and then that's all. Say good. No, it doesn't work that way. I found.
This knowledge has to keep on moving in your mind throughout the day. Whatever you do, you must bring this knowledge into the reference of whatever you are doing. Then it will keep on growing on you. Otherwise, it will be like seeing a movie. 3 hours you saw a movie. After 10 years, you ask what movie you saw, you will not forget. Even name of the movie you will forget. It will become like that.
Yeah, this will bless us, especially when you go tough situations or anything. That's when it's going to bless us, then. Yeah.
Every situation. In fact, every time you get a distress signal in your mind,
Yes.
we call this knowledge. What is there? And that is why we are talking about, letting go and things like that, and all a different way of coming to the same this thing.
Yes.
That Viveka, Vairagyam, all that we talk, they are not just theoretical talks. Rather, if you have all that in sufficient measure, nothing will disturb you in your life. Even the worst of the tragedies, which you call a tragedy, you will be able to have the titiksha to bear it.
Yes. So true, Raghuji. So true.
That is there. And many times, you may still get in a reactionary mode when there is a problem, right?
Yes.
Because that is what we have been practicing all along.
Conditioning. That's how we are conditioned since birth.
But if you have this knowledge ready at hand,
Yes.
you apply this knowledge, immediately the problem will vanish.
Yes.
Which I have personally tried. I'm trying it every opportunity I get, and it works.
Yes, it does work. I have also experienced. I mean, I said immediately,
Yeah, immediately. You just think, after all, what am I worrying about? Just then, nothing, all this is all in any case going to go away one day or the other. So why am I worrying about if it goes 10 days early or 10 days later? Nothing, it immediately takes all the stress tension away.
Like Puji Swami said, the non-acceptance of the situation is a cause problem because he says no uncertain terms. In no answer, I keep that in my mind. I have to, when I said, am I accepting it? Once you accept, even when death happened, that day or like 1 week or 1 month, depending, once you accept no more, then we are relaxed. So basically that's what makes it. It makes so sense. In the beginning, I never understood what is non-acceptance of the fact.
Yeah.
But you hear this so many times, then it sinks in your, Thank you very much. Thank you very much for
Yes,
bringing
Hariji,
back all the
your
old
hand is raised. Hariji, let us hear Hariji's questions.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. I mean, we are all here in satsang, so everybody will get a turn who wants to raise anything. No problem. Hariji, unmute yourself. Namaste. Can't hear.
Guruji,
Ah,
this is the best Vedanta class I have ever attended in my 72 years.
well,
My
okay, thank you.
my entire concept about Bhagavad Gita is changed today. I always thought Bhagavad Gita is application. It is not a pure science. But this is giving the total fundamentals. It is pure science, which was not. I always thought that Bhagavad Gita Upanishad is the pure science, and Bhagavad Gita is the application part of Upanishad. These two words which you explained today, that has changed my total understanding about Bhagavad Gita. I thank you very much. This was
Guru Parampara. I mean, I am only a loudspeaker communicating what right from Adi Shankara I've been talking about. And what Puja Swami Ji has talked in his commentary, what Swami Paramarthananda Ji has talked, what Swami Sadatmananda Ji has talked to me or taught me. It is only the Guru's words I am just communicating. Perhaps the only grace I have got is probably a little bit communication skill is there. That's all. But having
No,
said
Guruji,
that,
flow, by
Hariom.
God's grace, Guruji, by 6 o'clock we on means we just only realize when it is 7. The flow which is there is, I don't know what to say, but it is just God's grace, Guruji, and we are lucky.
I am lucky
The
to have
flow of thought which just comes like that, and the way it is put, it's really amazing, Guruji. Really, thank you very much. We should thank really God.
I have no doubt in this class. I was so.
So a lot more will come. I mean, after the 25th shloka, Krishna is going to ask Arjuna, if this is the case, what is there to worry about? If this is the na shochitum arhasi, na shochitum arhasi, he will keep on repeating every shloka. So he tries in our mind. Actually speaking, if you sit and analyze everything, understand all these things, second chapter is enough for knowing whole Bhagavad Gita. Everything else in Bhagavad Gita is superfluous.
What you told Guruji today, actually, I was just thinking about the Veda talks only of two things and both don't change, dharma and philosophy. I just connected both with Rama and Krishna, Guruji. I guess one avatar came for that first part, dharma, and Krishna came for the second Upanishad. And
that is very true. So we have to understand all this about our culture. When people talk denigrating about our culture, we tell them you don't know anything about us, about our culture, and nobody can deny that. I want to be hurt. Come, please, hit me. Anybody will say that? Anybody in his right senses will not say that. That is what we call it ahimsa. What is ahimsa? So these are all things ever. 1 minute. These are all ever eternal values. So like we see this on the karma side, eternal values, on the Brahman side also it is eternal. We just need to understand everything that is eternal. Yeah, good. I'm happy. You like the teaching of my
Today's class was. I don't know. My words.
Thank you.
Fail me to express what I feel. It was amazing.
Are you
It is simply amazing.
okay? Any more questions?
No question.
I have a question, Guruji.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Question is, when we talked about Achebhyoyam, Adahyoyam, that particular mantra or shloka, you were saying it means about me, right? Acheb, I mean, I don't know how this split comes out in Sanskrit. I don't understand. I mean, I don't know Sanskrit. So if you can explain that, that will be really very nice.
No, but what exactly you want me to explain? How the Anvaya you want?
How the word is split to show that
Okay, so see, what happens is you have to know a little bit Sanskrit for that, how words are split.
yes, sir.
So in Sanskrit, there are two types. Actually Sanskrit, you must understand, is a language not based on words, but based on sounds. It is a spoken language, Sanskrit. So every letter alphabet that we see in Sanskrit that we read is actually representing a sound, right? When we say A is not this what we write A is the sound, and the language is based on that sound. Now what Sanskrit language has got is that when two sounds come together, right? It has got there is a possibility that something changes in either of the sounds or both the sounds. A new sound is produced. Okay, so that's why, I mean, it's called Sandhi rules in Sanskrit rather. So we are revising in our Sanskrit class right now, that only. So when you look at this shloka, are you able to see this? 1 minute, I will show you the. Where is that? 1 second. Let me open that file.
Guruji, I understood the question as not to splitting the letters, but more as achedyaha, and each word is what the student is asking. Am I correct?
No, but I thought, my understanding was he asked that by reading the shloka, how do I split these words and come to the word achedya?
Okay.
My question was in Achedya, where is the me there? Achebhyoyam, right? Is it aham there? That ending is split as aham?
There is no aham. I am.
I am is something to do with me, right?
No, I am is this, referring to this.
Okay, okay.
I am, that's why I say, 1 second, I will do something. Can you see the screen now?
Yeah.
So here the shloka is achedyo yamadakyo yamakledyo shoshya evacha nitya sarvagatastano rachaloyam sanatana, right?
Okay.
You can't read Sanskrit also, okay. Here the word is the individual words are split as achedyaha ayam, adahyaha ayam, akledyaha ashosyaha evacha, right? Nityaha sarvagataha stanuhu achalaha ayam sanatana. So this is how in Sanskrit we split the words. Unless we split the words, we will not be able to understand what the word is. What is the meaning of that word is? So here it is not aham, it is ayam. Ayam means this Atma.
This, okay.
So Krishna is telling to Arjuna, he is now teaching Atma Jnanam as if Atma is a third person. Later on he will say, all that I told you about Atma, Arjuna, understand it is you only I was talking about. And that is what I have been telling you in this class. Whenever we see Atma,
I said wonderful, Guruji.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Swami Paramatmananda says, what is the test that you have actually not only understood, but also you have, internalized this knowledge. What is the test? He prescribes a very beautiful self-answering question. If you ask, what is Atma? If you are asked, you must say, can you describe Atma? You must not say Atma is eternal, Atma is this, Atma is that, and that. Akledya, Acharya. You must say, I am Akledya, I am eternal. When you I, instead of saying, I am Ganapathy, I am a human being, I say, I am eternal, I am immortal, I am consciousness. When you start saying that with real meaning it, that is the time you have got that knowledge, you have internalized it, assimilated. Till such time, as long as you talk about Atma as something external to you, you are still in the learning stage only. That's what Swami Paramatma says. Of course, we need not go and tell this to everybody coming. You board a train and then everybody asks you, who are you? I am Atma and all that. You need not start that. But in your mind, you must be very clear about it. You must be thoroughly clear that I am not this body, mind, sense complex. I am only an occupant of this body, mind, sense complex. That's it. One day I will, when this body, mind becomes old, I will leave this and go somewhere else. And my eventual destination is understanding that there is nothing called moksha. I am already a mukta purusha. So what am I chasing? All these sadhanas, moksha, moksha, moksha. There is nothing called moksha also. That's the final one when we reach that stage. Till such time, we have to take moksha as something real, and we are pursuing moksha, doing all the sadhanas. But the ultimate knowledge is, I am already mukta hai. I am not a samsari at all. There is a question of my pursuing moksha. So all these are all the ways, the Shastra way of teaching rather. Like we do in arithmetic, algebra and all that. We will bring in some external element, x or something, then solve the equation and remove the effect of the x. That is what the Shastra does, brings all these things, moksha, concept, everything. And then eventually, when you reach that final stage, remove the effect of all this moksha and all, when we fully understand. That is what happens. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Guru.
Thank you very much. Very nice answer. Thank you.
Thank you. See you all next Saturday.
I think somebody wants.
Yeah, question? Yes, Anjali ji. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, namaste, Guruji.
Namaste.
No, same thing what you are describing now. You said in this shlok, Sri Krishna is telling, I am Atma. And in the previous shlok, he said, Nainam Chindanti Shastrani, I know.
Enam.
So how it is Enam? How that is different referring?
You know Sanskrit?
Yeah, but Enam and I am not exactly getting.
Go and look at Sarvanama Shabdas. You will know the meaning of Am.
No.
Enam means that, right?
Enam means?
Enam means enam is used as that or this also.
This also. Okay.
Okay, and I am also means this. Say in Sanskrit, what happens is these words, they are all used depending upon certain distances, that's what they convey. I mean, they are all very subtle difference in meanings. When you say this,
I want to understand because I am proves that it is existing. You said like that in the this shloka.
I am means this. This refers to is Atma.
Achha.
Enam also is this, refers to Atma.
Okay.
For example, I mean, just to give you an example, there is a flask here. I have kept it in a little distance away from me. So I am trying to show you that flask. You see this flask there? You see my finger?
Mm-hmm.
When I am doing like this, that is Enam.
Achha.
Whereas when I say this here,
it is I am. Closer.
So this is just a sort of, the words of both meaning is Enam and I am word meaning from a point of view of shloka is same only. But there are different expressions
That's what I wanted to
Yeah, I mean,
understand.
it adds to the beauty of the poetry. That's by
Yeah,
using.
yeah.
That's
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Enam chindanti sastrani means weapons cannot destroy that. And what is that? Akledyoyam, ayam akledyaha. This atma it cannot be wetted or drowned. That is how these two words are used. When you get into Sanskrit more and more, you will understand these subtle differences.
Okay, okay, Guruji. Thank you.
Hariyo. Any more questions, comments, or shall we close the session? Okay, Hariyo. Thank you very much. See you next week.